is Tyrese Haliburton. Am I being a prisoner of the moment, or is it fair to now start having the conversation about Tyrese Haliburton being a potential fringe top 10 player? Or am I being a prisoner of the moment?
Prisoner of the moment.
You think so? Yeah. Because 6 weeks ago, if you would have said, is Tyrese Haliburton a top 10 player, I'd have been like, no.
Laughed. You would have laughed.
I don't know if I would have laughed, but I would have said no.
You would have chuckled. There would have been a chuckle
top
there.
20, but not top 10. So yeah, is it prisoner of the moment? I made a rough list. You want to work through this with me?
I'd love to work through it with you.
I can't tell if you're being
so much fun.
Being serious?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm
okay,
with you.
I didn't. This is not necessarily like a rank of them. This is just a rough order. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So and by the way, the last time the Pacers were in the finals, yeah, that's what I thought. It was the 2000 season. It's the last time the Indiana Pacers were in the finals. All right, here's a rough order. Not necessarily in order, but just like a rough list. The top. I'm going to give you the top 9 because then I think we have to talk about is Tyrese Haliburton in there? All right, keep track. You ready?
I'm ready.
Tell me if I forget anybody. Or
okay.
Joker, SGA, Giannis, Luka, fat or otherwise, Tatum, Ant, AD, Wemby. People are going to think I might be crazy on this one. I still have Steph. And then to round out the top 10 is, I think, one of these guys. You tell me. I put Mitchell, Brunson, Mobley, LeBron, Cade Cunningham, and Haliburton. Am I forgetting anybody?
So he could be 15th, is what you're saying.
I guess he could be anywhere from 10th to 15th.
Yeah.
Am I forgetting anybody? I don't think so.
Chris, is he forgetting anybody?
You didn't say Kawhi Leonard?
I didn't say Kawhi. That's true. Not that I forgot, but I just didn't put him in there.
Don't believe I heard Jimmy Butler's name.
I did not say Jimmy Butler. Is Jimmy Butler better than Tyrese Haliburton at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, Chris was quick on that.
Well, yeah, you asked earlier, am I a prisoner of the moment?
Yes,
I think you are 100% being a prisoner in the moment. He's having a fantastic playoff run.
Right.
But I don't think if you're laying out these other names that teams are building with Haliburton over Butler, Kawhi, LeBron.
Even Kawhi and LeBron now? Yeah. I think you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should not have left off Kawhi. I thought about it. I mean, LeBron's name is in there. I've got him in that mix, and I would agree that you'd still
Damian Lillard
at his age. No. Dame done, and now with another injury too. Markkanen, no chance. Tyrese Haliburton's better 6 weeks ago and today than Lauri Markkanen will ever be.
Bam.
Haliburton's better. I'm glad that you're throwing some names my way.
I got no choice but to do it. If I want to participate, I have to.
The debates are like,
how about Tyrese Maxey?
Haliburton's better than Tyrese Maxey.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Darren Fox.
That's a good one.
I would say I would pause on the Maxey as well.
Really? I think.
Yeah, I mean, out of sight, out of mind. I mean, last time he was in the playoffs, he was balling.
Trae Young.
Tyrese Haliburton. That's not even. I don't even want to please. If anybody tries to debate Trae Young,
listen. John Morant.
Haliburton at this point.
Haliburton over John Morant. Interesting. Yes. Okay.
Maybe
you
close.
said Donovan Mitchell though.
Said
right?
Mitchell. Said Brunson. Said Mobley. Said Cunningham.
Devin Booker.
That's an interesting one. I don't know what's happened to Devin Booker.
Devin Booker.
I can't quite figure out how that team has gotten so bad with some of the talent they have.
You said
why
AD.
Are they not better? I said AD.
You said AD.
Yeah, said AD. Why are the Suns not better with Devin Booker? So one guy's got his team on the verge of the finals. The other guy's team didn't make the play-in tournament.
Did you say Embiid or no? Or
I didn't say Embiid. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what to think of Joel Embiid anymore. I really love Embiid as a player. When he's healthy, I mean, I advocated him for being as good as anybody a couple years ago when he won the MVP.
Yep.
And I don't know what the hell to think of.
After
Embiid.
you had Joker fatigue, you're ready to hand out MVPs to everybody.
If Embiid's playing, if Embiid's on the floor playing.
I'll have you know this list that I looked at where I got all these names from has Haliburton as the 16th best player in the
And
league.
I think that's probably a good spot for him.
And Jimmy Butler right below.
I think that's probably a good spot.
Right. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, because these rankings didn't come from this brain.
But at some point,
and all those NBA names didn't come from this brain.
But at some point, guys have to start getting credit for what they're doing and what they're accomplishing in the playoffs. Maybe they caught a few breaks along the way. I think you could certainly say that they did in the way the weirdness happened in these Eastern Conference playoffs this year, just the way the whole season and then the way that, Boston blowing 2 games the way they did, and then Tatum getting hurt. I mean, like, there's some good breaks that went their way.
Sure.
But I got to give a guy
listen,
credit.
You don't apologize for getting breaks.
No,
and
I
still
agree.
have to do it on the court.
Yeah.
And so what he's actually been doing and what he's actually been showing is the reason why you're bringing up the conversation.
I don't think they're going to beat Oklahoma City. If the final is OKC Indiana, I think it will be. I don't think they're beating OKC. I'm not even sure how competitive they'll be, although I do like the way Indiana plays. I do. They're tough and they play, like we've talked about, that frenetic pace. I think that stresses teams a lot. I think it stresses defenses. I think OKC can handle it a little bit better if they get into the finals with them. But, like, I love the pace at which they play and how they run and how physical they can be. I mean, like, they're a fun team to watch, and they're very good.
Easy on the eyes, Carm.
Yes.
Easy on the eyes.
There's one team in, like, the 40-something years I've been watching the NBA, and really if you look at the entire history of the NBA, there's sort of one team that kind of bucks the trend of you need to have a top 10 player to win, and that is the 04 Pistons. That team was very good, don't get me wrong.
Tayshaun Prince.
Sure, Rasheed Wallace and Chauncey and Rip Hamilton and
the other guy.
Did I say Ben Wallace? I said Rasheed and Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that team was very, very good. Very good. Did they have a top 10 player? Probably not. So that's the one team that kind of bucked that trend. And if Indiana were somehow to pull this off, and I don't think they will, they might. I don't think it's like any sort of new thing that's going to happen in basketball. I think the best player and the 2 best players are always going to win.
Yeah.
Like, at least 99% of the time are going to win. But I think Haliburton is close and has put himself in an interesting conversation of, like, who is in that next group after maybe the top 9 or 10 guys, like somewhere from 11 to 15 or 16. Is he that kind of player now? He didn't have a great year. He certainly didn't have a great start to the season. Played better as the year went on. That whole Indiana team played better as the year went on. They were very good in the second half of the season. But he's kind of taken his game to another level here. And if he can string that together season after season, he has become a much more interesting player. Who's already a good player that's become a much more interesting player and has made the East more interesting, I think.